Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta Texas is the best dive coaster that I have ever ridden, but what makes it so special? Let's talk about the ride experience. The ride experience starts in an unorthodox way with a pre-show. Now, this pre-show isn't anything to write home about, but for a Six Flags coaster, it's kind of crazy that it actually has a theme and a pre-show. After you get out of the pre-show, you have to put all your loose articles into these lockers. They're free and pretty convenient, and in a moment, I'll talk about how you can use them to basically skip the entire line. Once you board your trains, you pull down your B&M vest restraints, which are overheated, I'll be honest, and climb the lift hill with extreme speed. Once you get to the top, you take your typical B&M dive coaster turn and begin the process of the first drop. The first drop is the main feature on dive coasters. The way it dangles you over the edge makes this type of coaster a spectacle for the general public, and because of that, it draws them in. That being said, because Dr. Diabolical is shorter than the other dive coasters that I've ridden, the spectacle is at its weakest on this ride. The following drop, however, is at its strongest on this coaster. The drop caught me off guard. The drops on dive coasters are typically really good, but the drop on this one is another level, and that comes from one simple improvement. They made the drop 95 degrees instead of the typical 90 degrees. On paper, that doesn't sound like too big of a difference, but the improvement it makes on the ride is just incredible. In the back, you are yanked over the drop, and you get sustained airtime throughout the entire thing, so it's easily the highlight of the ride. After the drop, you go into a really good implement, and then into a super floaty 0G roll. After the 0G roll, you take a turn and go into the mid-course brakes. The drop off these brakes is alright, and then you go into a rather forceless turn and then into a wild airtime hill, which delivers some really good airtime. Following that hill is a small helix, and then you go into the brakes. The layout is actually really strong, especially when compared to other B&M dive coasters like Valraven, and the coaster is quite smooth. Honestly, as a model, B&M dive coasters are overhated. Like, they aren't the best, but they're not bad either. Sure, they might be bland at times like Valraven, but they don't deserve as much hate as I see them getting. Before I give Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger a score, I just want to let you guys know about a super easy way to re-ride without waiting through most of the line. By the end of the lockers, there's an employee standing next to a gate, and if you show them your locker key, they'll let you back into line basically by the station, bypassing the majority of the standby line and the entirety of the pre-show. Now, I can't say for sure if this would work for you. It might be dependent on the day you visit, but it's definitely worth a try because you're gonna want to re-ride this coaster. It's the second best ride in the park, and I would give it an 8.4 out of 10. But to see how I would improve it, that video is right there.